Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is going to be about TNA Impact Wrestling for this week. But first, some brief news. Dixie Carter announced by Twitter that Impact Wrestling will continue to air live throughout the month of September. Wow. What a surprise by the news. Didn't think that there was enough ratings to support and convince Spike TV to sign on another extension. Yet the show quality has been better as a result of the show airing live. The competition will only get stiffer in September as the NFL begins airing weekly on Thursday night games, and there was an NFL game tonight for preseason. I forgot who was playing other than the Packers. TNA Knockout, Gail Kim's wedding with her husband and celebrity chef Robert Irvine will be chronicled on Wedding Impossible on the Food Network on August the 18th at 9 p.m. Central Time, and you can check that out. As they were married on the actual taping was on May the 10th, 2012, and Dixie Carter tweeted the images from a Food Network magazine article on the couple's wedding. It's the third page that mentions the special. You can check it out by her Twitter page at twitter.com/TNA Dixie. TNA Gut Check winner Taylor Hendricks has been signed to appear on the next Shine Women's Wrestling Internet pay-per-view on August the 17th. Hendricks is scheduled for a triple threat match, also involving former TNA Knockout Sojourner Bolt. That's Sojourner Bolt. Sojourner Bolt. And the pay-per-view from Ybor City, Florida. Is headlined by former WWE wrestler Jazz versus Mercedes Martinez. And now for your Impact Wrestling results. Previously on Impact, Claire did a lot of bad acting from last week, and Aces and Eights attacked everyone but James Storm. Bully Ray made his way to the ring and did his shtick. Bully Ray addressed Joseph Park and said if he learned anything from the man, it's that if there's a mountain of evidence against someone, they're guilty. He transitioned into saying that Storm is guilty of leading Aces and Eights. And then Bully Ray started explaining why Storm had to be the leader of Aces and Eights, but Storm interrupted him and joined Ray in the ring. Storm screamed at Bully Ray and said he's tired of being blamed and having his integrity questioned. Well, James had affirmed his innocence and said he's only worried about winning the BFG series. Storm said Bully had him all worked up, so tonight he would be settling things with Bully Ray by kicking the crap out of him. And Ray backed up and left when Storm threatened to get physical. Well, just as he was about to get out of the ring, a muffled voice from the back rang out with a video on let's call it the Impactron, where the Aces and Eights were shown hanging out backstage, and they said Sting was calling them out tonight, but they would do things on their own terms. Ray went frantic, blaming Storm and TNA to cut commercial in the middle of his rant. Alright, TNA really needs to work on the timing of their commercials. Past that, this was an effective opener that gave some weight to the Bully Ray and Storm match for later and established that Aces and Eights is there. Why all the guys that wanted to fight Aces and Eights last week doesn't go attack them at their hangout spot is beyond me. But that's probably one of those wrestling things that you're better off not questioning. As they went to commercial, they replayed the cryptic words of Aces and Eights. And the Pope cuts a brief promo about why he was going to earn 20 points at the BFG series at Hardcore Justice this coming Sunday. Taz and Tenay recapped the BFG standings, the Africa Series standings. Mr. Anderson joined the men on commentary. Oh, goody! So you get Rob Van Dam versus Magnus in Bound for Glory Series match. Magnus and RVD battled to the floor, and Magnus gained the upper hand. Back in the ring, Magnus continued to work over RVD. The finish came when RVD pinned Magnus after a Star Frog Splash. And he won in 3 minutes 13 seconds to earn 7 points in the series. Bobby Roode spoke backstage about how he's not happy with the contract he was presented for the match against A-Double at Hardcore Justice. Not sure why they swapped Pope out for Magnus, but it was a nice surprise. There wasn't much match to analyze, and I hope they end up doing more with Magnus. They could really get him over as a singles guy, but with the BFG series, but so far TNA doesn't seem interested in that idea. And then they showed another commercial as a replay. Claire's baby shower was showing from last week. Claire's bad acting still gives me the creeps, as she is also at ringside on the rampway, and only to cheer for AJ. Christian Daniels and Kazarian versus Garrett Bischoff and Devon for the TNA Tag Team Championships. Devon controlled the early action. He got a tag into Garrett, and the heel took over. Daniels and Kazarian controlled the majority of the match. The finish came when Kazarian struck Devon with a TV title belt while Earl Hebner had his back turned. I think it was Earl Hebner. Had his back turned and covered him for the pinfall victory. Or as one of the Hebner boys. Christopher Daniels and Kazarian defeated Garrett Bischoff to retain the TNA Tag Championships in 4 minutes 5 seconds. A recap of Sting's meeting with Brooke Hogan aired from last week. Sting cuts a quick promo backstage calling Aces and Eights out. The match was okay, but again it was too short to really matter and felt quite random. Taz did a good job of explaining that Devon and Garrett earned that spot based on house show matches. But that doesn't help the viewing audience, seeing them were worthy as a title shot. The show is really having difficulty getting out of the gate this week. There's been a very, very little action, and most of the show has been recapping last week rather than progressing with future stories. They cut a commercial promo video for the Hardcore Justice aired that focused on the various Bound for Glory series gimmick matches. Next up was Robbie E and Robbie T coming to the ring with a table. Robbie cuts a promo about how he shouldn't be overlooked in the Bound for Glory series. And he claims he's got 5 points. 5 total points in like 2 months. As his only points he gained by defeating Jeff Hardy with a countout. A victory. And he said that he will promise another victory against Jeff Hardy and put him through a table in the Bound for Glory series. Well, Hardy joined the fun, and Robbie E mocked him as he made his way down the ramp. Hardy quickly took out Robbie T and got a hold of Robbie E, but only to get Robbie T recovering and put Hardy through the table with a powerbomb. AJ Styles said that he should remember having sex with Claire in a backstage segment because he doesn't drink. But he doesn't remember having sex with her either. 45 minutes in, and that was the first bit of hype we got for the Sunday. Does TNA know this is their go-home show? And commercial break. And back from the commercial, Samoa Joe comes out, cuts a promo at the commentary on one of the commentary headsets about how he is going to win this Sunday at Hardcore Justice. And match number 3, AJ Styles versus Kurt Angle in Bound for Glory Series match. Styles hits a huge drop kick early and quickly took control. Styles dove over to the outside, and Claire was shown at ringside as the show goes to commercial as she's cheering on AJ. Back from the break, Styles continues to control Angle. Angle quickly battled back and took his turn on offense. Late in the match, Styles and Angle traded finishers and even did each other's signature spots. Yeah, AJ tried to do the German suplexes. The finish came down to Angle hitting the second Angle slam for the 1-2-3. As he did, he actually did a move off the top rope, and then delivered the Angle slam for the 1-2-3. Because AJ was doing a move. He was coming out. Oh, he was doing a spring. I think it was a springboard. And then Angle puts his knees up, and Angle slam. Knees up to the gut, and the Angle slam. And that match took 12 minutes 39 seconds to earn 7 points for Kurt Angle in the series. After the match, Claire about fell over the barricade, trying to give Styles some encouraging words. Styles gave her the cold shoulder and walked away. He just stared at her like double take. Okay, another Aces and Eights member bragged about their attacks thus far, still backstage, and promised to deliver another attack tonight. Mr. Anderson spoke with Jay Storms backstage and implied that he was the leader of Aces and Eights. He cited the message we just heard was, and warned that if he was the next victim, he would have another discussion with Storm. Well, back to the match. Good match. It suffered from the same problem that Angle's recent matches have had due to the overuse of the Angle finisher formula. But it was well done there. TNA was wise not to use Angle in the main event slot to keep from that oversaturation from making the main events predictable. Commercial break. AEW speaks on the phone and says that the contract problems wouldn't be an issue. Harvey approached him and said that and asked him about it, and Aries said he doesn't care about the contract. The contract anyways. All he cares about is getting to Sunday. Match number 4, Gail Kim versus Miss Tessmacher in a non-title match. Kim attacked Tessmacher early, but Tessmacher saw her coming and was able to thwart her offense. Kim eventually got the better of Tessmacher and began to work her over. The finish came when Tessmacher dropped Kim on her face and got the clean pin. And the Knockouts match took 3 minutes 37 seconds. Well, just after the match was finished, Madison Rayne made her way to the ring, and she snoggled Earl Hebner, meaning that she stared at Tessmacher and then put a whopping kiss on Earl Hebner as he falls down. Joseph Park spoke briefly about Rude and Aries' contract signing. Since he's a lawyer, he should be involved in it, but so that's just hyping the event, effectively hyping it up for later. These two have had some great matches, but this wasn't one of them. Speaking of the girls' match, it was simply too short to really amount to anything again, and Tessmacher botched her finisher. This edition of Impact has really struggled to find its stride other than the one Angle and AJ match. And it can be a lot that can be blamed on is the over-reliance on replays and several short matches. Then they did a Kenny King hyped video aired, just as they cut, and then they cut the commercial. And Sting makes his way to the ring for the next segment. Sting summoned Aries and Rude. Rude obliged first, followed by a double. Rude put on a sour face and paced around the ring rather than sitting. As they're getting ready for the contract signing at the table, this thing stood up the whole time. Rude said that he's not happy with the contract because if he loses on Sunday, he doesn't get another shot at the title until Aries drops the belt. Rude said it was Sting's bias against him that brought about the stipulation, and he said he refused to sign. Aries shushed Rude up quickly and pointed out how Rude must be worried that Aries has his number. Aries handed the contract to Sting and said they should come up with a verbal agreement, meaning a verbal contract. That betrays a bit of lack of knowledge about contract law, old chap. Aries offered to refuse his rematch clause if Rude agreed to the original terms, so it makes it even. So if Bobby Roode wins now, Aries does not get another shot. So now whoever loses, they don't get a shot. at the title as long as the other still holds the belt. The two men shook on the deal eventually, but Bobby Roode shook Sting's hand first. A-Double shook Sting's hand to make it official, and then they both shook hands and they stayed face to face. And Roode threw some grabbed a cup of water that was on the table, and he took a swallow and then threw the rest of it on A-Double, and Roode escapes and ran for the hills. Well, that was effective. TNA has done a piss poor job of selling their pay-per-view with this show, but that segment did its job. Chavo and Hernandez were backstage, and they spoke about how they want gold and Kid Cash. They kept going back and forth with this segment, and Kid Cash and Gunner complained about conspiracy as they kept on panning back and forth. You couldn't understand much of what they were saying as they were going back and forth. Taz and Tenay ran down the Hardcore Justice card. Match number 5, James Storm versus Bully Ray in a Bound for Glory Series match. Ray controlled the majority of the early action. Ray tossed Storm to the floor and the show went to commercial. Back from the break, Storm had a spot, but Ray continued his assault. Ray hit the Bully Bomb late in the match for the great near fall. Storm answered with a closing time and set up the last call, but Ray avoided him and hit the cutter for the pinfall victory. Bully Ray defeated Storm in 10 minutes 45 seconds by pinfall to earn 7 points in the BFG series. Ace and Ace appeared on the video call it the Impactron, and they said that they were going after Bully Ray on Sunday because they said earlier that they would choose whoever they want to go, and they told Bully Ray to be warned. And Bully Ray commented, "Are you coming after me? You coming after me?" Cut. They went off the air. Well, what a fun main event! I kind of figured Ray would be going over due to the Storm being so far ahead in the BFG standings, but Ray and Storm produced a good match. Overall, this was a disappointing edition of Impact. Just 2 great matches for the entire show. The final sell for Hardcore Justice was lacking in the ring, and storyline progression left a lot to be desired. TNA has been producing a lot of great TV lately, but this wasn't one of them. And that ends my comments on Impact Wrestling for this week.